All right, let's get right into it. The most advanced AIs out there are being put through their paces with a brand new, incredibly tough challenge. We're talking about a gauntlet designed to answer one big question. Can they actually think like a scientist?
For years, this has been the question, right? Can an AI do more than just spit back facts it's memorized? Can it genuinely reason, come up with ideas, and solve problems the way an expert human would? Well, a new benchmark is finally giving us a way to find out.
And guess what? The very first results are already in, and they're showing us some really fascinating and honestly pretty surprising things about where the limits of today's AI really are. Okay, so let's dive into this new proving ground. It's a test called Frontier Science, and believe me, it is specifically designed to push AI to its absolute breaking point.
But you might be wondering, why did we even need a harder test? The simple answer is that AI is just getting good, like unbelievably fast.
To really get a sense of how fast, just look at the progress on an older test, the GPQA benchmark. Back in November 2023, so not that long ago, GPT-4 was scoring around 39%. Fast forward to today's models, they're hitting 92%. The old tests just aren't a challenge anymore. The field needed a whole new measuring stick. So what exactly is inside this new gauntlet? Well, Frontier Science isn't just another multiple-choice quiz. It's a whole system designed to really dig deep into the limits of an AI's ability to reason. It's actually split into two different tracks. First, you've got the Olympiad track. Think of it like the Olympics, but for AI. Super difficult, structured problems where there's only one correct answer. But then you have the research track. This is more like a PhD-level exam. It tests that messy, open-ended thinking that scientists actually use in the real world.
And the sheer scale here is just massive. We're talking over 700 expert-level questions, spanning physics, chemistry, and biology. And let's be clear, this isn't Jeopardy! These are complex, deep problems written by the best of the best, actual Olympiad medalists and PhDs.
And to make sure these questions are legit, they don't just write them and throw them in. Every single one goes through this intense four-stage process. They're created by experts, reviewed by other experts, any issues get resolved by a panel, and then they're finalized. This whole thing makes sure every question is a real, meaningful challenge and not just some kind of trick. Okay, so this is the moment we've been waiting for. How did the latest and greatest AI models actually do when they went up against this thing? Well, the first results give us a super clear picture of what AI is good at and, maybe more importantly, what it's still really bad at. Now, on that structured Olympiad track, the top models were, well, they were seriously impressive. GPT 5.2 scored a 77%, and Gemini 3 Pro was breathing down its neck at 76%. I mean, that's a huge leap forward, showing that AI is getting incredibly good at solving these complex, logical puzzles.
But when we look at the research track, the one with the open-ended creative tasks that are supposed to be like real-world science, boy, it's a completely different story.
25%. Just let that sink in. The best AI model could only manage a 25% on the research track. This number, right here, it just screams that there is a massive, massive gap between solving a problem with a clear answer and that genuine creative thinking that actually leads to new scientific discoveries.
So, what does this all mean for the future of science? Well, it really seems to suggest that AI is shaping up to be an unbelievable partner for scientists, a powerful tool, but it's definitely not ready to replace them anytime soon.
Look, today's models are great for speeding things up, but they've got some pretty big limitations. They're not coming up with brand new, out-of-the-box ideas on their own. They can't, walk into a lab and run an experiment. And, as these tests just proved, they can still make basic errors in logic and just totally misunderstand really specific scientific ideas.
And really, that brings us to the most important point of all. At the end of the day, the real test isn't about getting a high score on a benchmark. The real test, the real finish line, is whether this amazing technology can actually help us make new discoveries that make the world a better place.
So this new benchmark gives us an awesome snapshot of where AI is right now. It's a powerhouse when it comes to reasoning, for sure, but that creative spark, that still seems to be uniquely human. And it leaves us all with a pretty huge question to think about. What's going to be the first truly great discovery that comes from a human and an AI working together?